The Rock had already won the Beaufort Stakes the day before. It was a misty morning on the day of decision when early voters went along to do their duty. After 2 successive periods of Conservative power, Britain was at the crossroads again. And now, by means of a simple cross on a piece of paper, the people of Britain were deciding which road the nation was to follow. A heavy poll had been expected, and it was a good one. That great man, Sir Winston Churchill, was a candidate again. This was his 20th election fight, 8 more than any other candidate. Mr Macmillan, who led the Conservative campaign with a nationwide tour, now came to cast his vote. And soon those little slips of paper, weighted with decision, were pouring into ballot boxes all over the country. Counting the votes began at 9 o'clock that evening in many constituencies. Quite a job, but luckily for the counters, there aren't too many parties in Great Britain. They wanged into it with a will. As usual on these occasions, there's competition among stations to be first. Over 35 million votes were cast, about 78% of the electorate. While this was going on, there were tense moments at Transport House for Mr Morgan Phillips, Labour Party Secretary. Would Labour do it this time? And just across the way, it was the same at Conservative Party headquarters. Here too, the staff was on tiptoe to analyse the trend from first results. Lord Hailsham was wearing his bellringer's tie. The bell had been rung to good effect. Trafalgar Square was the chief rallying point for Londoners who aimed to make election night a real night out, and to see the results chalked up. Here's the first, a good omen for Conservatives. One to make Mac happy. Presently, another for the Tories. One for Gate School gloom. It wasn't long before the trend began to show. Party supporters let themselves go as every declaration came through. When an election's held, the people know what they want. He must be a don't know, or perhaps he just can't remember. Of course, for those who happen to be on the winning side, an election can be fun. It can be the bottom. October the 8th, and yet the night was warm and dry. Not like some election nights when it poured with rain. But even with an Indian summer like this, some people are never satisfied. Floating voters, I presume, but how wet can you be? He's striking a new chord anyway. Well, such was the scene in the capital. Meanwhile, in Leeds, Mr Hugh Gaitskell, the leader of the opposition, though re-elected, was still to be in opposition. Sir Winston was in again at Woodford, and that called for a cigar, I should think. When a Conservative victory became obvious, this is what Mr Macmillan said. We are one country, we are one people. We live together and work together. We have seen our comrades in war die together. And I hope that when the battle is over among ourselves, we will remember that we are one people and do our best to work each for the common good.
People can work in peace.